Um, Hi, welcome to this channel. Welcome to my channel. I'm going to tell you my story the way I remember it, exactly how I remember it. Everything that happened from point A to point B. I'm a little nervous, but I plead with you to bear with me. For the purposes of safety, I'm not going to reveal my real identity or where I actually come from, but I'm going to try to keep the locations of these events as real as possible. Unless if they reveal my current location, then I'll omit a few details, but for as long as they don't, the ones far back anyways, I'm going to just say them as they are. So I'm also going to omit the real identities of the people I'm going to be mentioning in this series. And this is your warning if you have some trauma that you haven't healed from, or if you are sensitive, then please do click off this video before it goes deep, because we are going to go deep. We're going to take a head dive. I would also like to mention that I have never received any form of therapy. I would love to, but I haven't. I don't even know if any type of therapy could help me with the problems that I've had to deal with or my trauma. But I'm just going to share my story. Hopefully someday I can print it out in a book, have the confidence to do that. But for now, I'm just going to record it in a series of episodes. And I advise you to watch or listen rather from episode 1 so that you can get the full story of what really happened, how it happened. So let's take a walk together. Dear Diary. So we call each other with sync names. Anyway, so yeah, every time we also scream each other like that too. And then something happened. But before I go there, before that's too fast, let's go back, right? And then one day, I remember I was sleeping at night. I always had these hot flashes. Like I would burn when I was sleeping. I would always burn, and I would always wake up in the middle of the night and go to my parents' room and say and tell them that I'm burning. Maybe I have a nightmare. Can I sleep with you guys? And they'd always let me. They'd always allow me to come into bed with them. And one day, I woke up burning again, like really, really burning. Every time I'd burn, burn like this, so much burn that I would sweat, and there'll be so much water in the blankets. Like it would seem like I'd peed on myself, but I actually hadn't peed on myself. It'd be just sweat. And these nights came consequently that I remember there was a routine now that my sisters would wake up to, and they would take me to the shower and bathe me with water. And I realized that they were just cooling me down so I could go back to sleep. And then one day I woke up with so much sweat as usual, and this time there was a lot of feces. There was a lot of feces around me. I was wondering what happened. How did I poop so much? How I was shocked as a kid. I shocked myself. I wondered, why did I poop so much? How is that possible? And what is it that I ate that I was so much in my stomach that it had so much wet poop? It seemed like diarrhea, and it was just so much poop everywhere. around my stomach. It almost reached my face. Yeah, basically that's how much covered in poop that I was. It was unbelievable. I remember my sisters waking me up. They tried to wake me up for a long time, it seemed, and I wasn't waking up because they were just worried. Everybody was surrounding me, and with these worried faces, and my parents were also coming to the room. So, okay. The first thing I saw was the poop, right? I saw my sisters' worried faces. I saw my parents walking to the room. And the next thing I remember is I just went back to sleep somehow. I was just so tired. So tired and so sleepy that I just went back to sleep. Because I was just feeling so much weight, right? And I wasn't really sleeping because it was like I was in and out of sleep. And then the next thing I remember was I was on this bed, this moving bed, right? And that's how I remember it. I was on a moving bed, and this moving bed was taking me outside. And I was thinking, am I dreaming? How's the bed moving? I was thinking maybe it has rollers, and indeed it did have rollers, right? And the next thing I see were these lights that were changing, like just a lot of lights, right? And that's when I see it. I see the bus and ambulance, right? I get strolled in there, and that was it. I just blacked. I went back to sleep, and this time permanently I didn't wake up again until the next time I woke up. I was home and I was just playing normally like nothing ever happened. I didn't remember exactly what happened, how it happened. I was only told when I was older, much older, that as a kid I suffered a lot from fevers. I had so much severe fevers that they one time they attacked my body so much that they happened frequently for a whole week. And then by the day that I remember was by the time now they're finally about to take over, like take my entire little small body away. And that's when my body couldn't take it anymore, and I just defecated on myself whilst I was sleeping because of just so much heat. My body temperature had risen it had risen so high that my body couldn't take it anymore, and apparently I was on the brink of death because of how frequent they were. They tried to give me pills throughout the week, apparently, and I don't remember them. I guess they gave me the child way of crushing the pills, something. I don't remember, but they tried and nothing helped until that time when I got hospitalized. Apparently, I stayed at the hospital for like 2 days. Unconscious, 2 days, 2 whole days. So apparently that's what happened. Anyway, I don't remember the hospital duration. I don't remember even coming out of the hospital. All I remember was the feces. That was it. So that happened, right? That was the first underlying sign to my health crisis. And because the health crisis that I have isn't easily detected, it wasn't easy to tell what the problem was going to be. Anyway, so let me just explain the health crisis part so that everybody is aware by the time I explain every single event. It turns out that I have rare blood deficiency. It's not common, where my body is not able to create enough white blood cells. So it creates a shortage of white blood cells every time for some weird reason. Because most people that are anemic, they have red blood cells deficiency, like where the body is not creating enough red blood cells, and then basically iron anemia, right? And for me, it's the opposite. I have enough of red blood cells, so I look normal on the outside, and everything looks normal But my white blood cells are the ones that are not enough, right? They are way, way less, like dangerously low. Almost half the average amount that a normal human being my age should have. So I didn't know that, obviously, as a child and growing up too. All I just knew was that I was always craving so much meat, like so much various types of foods. I'd always crave them. And that was my body's way of trying to supplement that, I guess. So naturally, I'll eat multiple types of different foods, right? And especially fish, because I always ate fish all the time because of where I was living. So that really didn't become a dangerous health factor. So anyway, I basically lived my life like that. And then one day something happened with my mom's work. Um, my dad had retired. So since my dad had retired, now my mom was the one who was just left working. My parents are really old, like they're just so much older than I am. I was basically one of those miracle babies who were not expected. Anyway, so yeah, excuse me. Something happened with my mom's work that she was then transferred from like one border of the country to the next, right? And because of that, my parents just felt that they didn't want to sabotage anything regarding our education. So they tried to look for schools in the new place that we were going to live in, and none of the schools were good enough for them to take their children to, because they felt that the learning and basically the school curriculum and just the study, everything about the school's education program wasn't good enough for them, because they felt like it wasn't competing enough to what we were normally used to. So what they did was they tried to look for schools for me and my older sister, the one that I follow. And that was because my other sisters were already in boarding schools, so that was not an issue. The issue was me and my other sister, right? And the next best school was far from where we were going to be living, and it was much more expensive than they could afford. So they tried to look for boarding schools for us too, little kids, right? They tried to look for boarding schools for children like us. And there wasn't really any in the country, so they looked for some in the neighboring country. And they found one, but there wasn't any boarding program. It was just that the man that they met was the owner of the school. He offered to take care of us so that we could school and offer a living condition, like a home, whilst we go to school there and then go home on holidays. So my parents took that because they believed that he was a good man, and we had family that was married into that country, so they believed the people of that country were just good people, and he was a good man, right? Except that his child was not. So because he was a man and we were two little girls, he felt it was inappropriate to stay with us. So he suggested that his daughter, who was one of the teachers in his school, would live with us since she didn't have children of her own. So he was like, maybe this could also bring some solace to her, because she was an older woman who didn't really have children. So maybe if she had kids running around her house, it would be good. My parents found that as a good thing too, and she was also welcoming and open, and she basically just took us in. So yeah, we were the first boarding kids in that school, basically. But there were other kids too who were from our country, but they were not in the boarding program. They were basically in day schooling, right? They would come through the border every day to come to school. And there was only one other guy who was in the boarding program. We found him there. Anyway, now to the Sour of the sour memories. Oh man. I need to take a break on this one, but I have decided to talk. So I'm gonna go all the way. Anyway, so my parents eventually found us the school, right?